We'll get you a flyer, a mirror, and a pen.
And then what do we do with it?
You're going to write on there, I love myself, and then you're going to have to wait because it'll be part of the process.
She doesn't want us to be in the middle of the...
Yeah, it's a process. Everything about learning is a process, and I want you guys to remember as much as you can. I mean, I've got the nice little paper in front of you, but I want you to have a greater understanding about what we're talking about. There you go, sweetie. You're welcome.
Thank you.
And write on there, I love myself. Yes, Susan? Purple? Ah. Oh, she likes purple
I'll
too.
take green if you want.
No, she's got it.
I like this one.
She got it. Jimmy, you need a flyer? And Jimmy needs a mirror. Jimmy, you want a black or a pink? Does it matter? No, that's okay. Over there, Jimmy will stand up and then go ahead and take him that too, honey. Almost about ready to start, guys. Okay, honey. Sounds good. All right, we're almost about ready to start, guys. I think almost everybody's here. And then my assistants will keep an eye on if anybody comes in late.
Charge them extra.
No charge, no. I knew we were going to have a full house. I knew it would be pretty close. Huh? I know, isn't it nice? And I haven't worn this all for like weeks because it's on the poster out there, but it's all good. I'll just put this here for now. All right, I think we're about ready to begin. So the class tonight is, and I call it Heike's Keys to Longevity, because what I've done is I've taken 4 months worth of studies, 2 hours a day, and through books and books and books, to give you guys the keys of what I find or have found in research that will lengthen your life, if you so choose. Okay, because it is a choice. You have free will. So that's what is about this. So maybe with your pen, I'd like you to kind of ask yourself, why do I want to live longer? Why? You know, and I ask that question quite often to people, and some people will tell me, well, I've got my kids, you know, I want to make sure everything's good with them. I want to see them through. I've got grandkids. You know, I want to live longer for them. Some people tell me, which is kind of where I'm at, is I want to grow, along with my family, I want to grow closer to God. And to me, to learn that aspect and become more Christ-like, to me, matters very much. So, but everybody has different reasons. And some people say, I don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. Think about it. Why do you want to live longer? Oh, you're fine, honey. So when we talk about living longer, everybody seems to think that it's genetics. That's only about, on an average, 24% that makes the difference. Yeah, only 24%. So there are certain genetic disorders in which we do not have much control over. There's Huntington's and some other things that they'll show up and they'll turn on under stress or that type of thing. But 24% is all that is affected. Everything has to do with your choices. Okay? Yeah, isn't that amazing? It's all about choices. So I like this phrase, genetic loads the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. Okay, so you're given a set of genetics, but it's up to you to choose what you do lifestyle-wise to pull the trigger. So let's say, for example, you have a grandmother that had rheumatoid arthritis, and I get this all the time. People will say, well, you know, I'm going to have rheumatoid arthritis, and I'm going to say, no, you're not. Only if you pull the trigger, you know, and you eat poorly and yada, yada, then that will occur. So Hippocrates said, let food be your medicine, and let medicine be your food. So a good portion of this that we're going to talk about tonight is about food and what the latest research is showing about choices about food. Okay? And there's so many diets paleo, vegan, vegetarian, vegan, paleo. There's a lot of different choices to choose from. Now, not all of us are genetically identical. We have obviously different body compositions, different constitutions. And some of us should be vegan 100% of the time, and some of us occasionally you probably could get away with some meat. A blood types should always be vegan. So if you're in A blood type, oh yeah, because biochemically the meat will sit in your gut for 2 to 4 days and it will rot. So can you imagine you leave a piece of meat sitting out on the counter for 2 to 4 days? It would rot. Unless it's a McDonald's burger. But, sorry. But no, there's been actually a lot of, they've literally taken those kinds of things, set them out for 10 years and they never rot. So being aware that you guys can go around. And so when we look at the causes of aging, causes of diseases are toxicity and nutrient deficiencies. That's it. So if you're toxic, chemical-ridden, pesticides, herbicides, mercury, aluminum, all the things that we typically find in our environment, that's toxicity. When you're talking about nutrients, you're talking about your overall foods, your carbohydrates, your macronutrients, your carbs, your fats, your proteins, your fibers. Those are all considered macronutrients, okay? Micronutrients are your vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, certain grape seeds or green teas. Those are considered micronutrients, okay? We have known since 1931 that 99% of us are mineral deficient. And you know how we know? Because the 1931 United States Congress told us so. They knew about it for a long, long time, that our soils just didn't have the nutrients in them. Wow. So people who say you can get everything from your food, Congress did not agree with them, and that was a very long time ago. Okay, we've known about this for some time. So it's very important that you recognize that food is very important, but odds are good, and we'll talk about that in the supplements. You're not going to get everything from your food. Okay. There are some exceptions to that. If you have a wonderful, beautiful garden and you're composting and your soil's rich and you got a lot of worms and you got minerals and all, that's possible. Rare, but possible. I do my best. I have a garden and I do all that, but it takes a lot of time. And most of us don't have that kind of amount of time. So it is a possibility. So that is always something I suggest. If you've got a little bit of land, start putting stuff on it, Plant your carrots, plant your, you guys can sit down and get comfortable if you want. I think everybody that's going to come is here. And if you want to get comfortable, or you can stand there. Either way. Get comfy. Okay. So in our recent time, we didn't have a lot of toxins and that type of, or in past times, we didn't have toxins to deal with. We didn't. The only thing our body had to worry about were parasites, bacteria, and viruses. That's all we had to worry about. Until Industrial Revolution, we started having all these chemicals in our environment, and then our bodies became very, very overloaded with all these chemical exposures. And there isn't anybody who doesn't have toxicity to some extent. It just is there, and there's not anything that you can do to stop the influx of it per se, other than eating organic, watching what you put on your skin, looking at the ingredients, watching what you cling with. Oh yeah, if you're clinging with ammonia, oh God, don't do it. No. So there's a lot of natural things out there. So you want to lower that toxicity load. It's really important. So looking for clingers, I think I'd highlight that. Your makeup. So I normally don't wear much, but I put a little lipstick on from L'Oreal right now because it stays on. That's toxic. And I know that. I made it one choice for temporary. But yeah, so we have to be really cognizant of certain things as far as what we're putting in our skin, what we're bathing with. If you're washing with certain washing soaps, that they use to clean environmental Dawn, which is wonderful for cleaning up, oil spills. Oh, geez. You're getting into your body all those toxic chemicals. Yeah. So being aware what you're putting on. What are you breathing? So, fabric softener sheets, very toxic. Chemical. And so, if you want to do, you can do some natural ones you can do, but otherwise, excuse me, guys. So, absolutely none of those types of things. Okay? Yes?
What about those balls?
Yes, the balls are good, or there are some natural ones you can do, or you can make your own. And there's certain things that you can look up online of how you can get that static or that softness. And there are natural ones that you can do. Okay? So something else to consider. Okay, so underneath my clothes, now these are polyester, right? Okay. On an average, in order to make a polyester product, it takes 8,000 chemicals.
Oh, no.
So what happens if I wear that next to my skin? Oh boy. So underneath this stuff, I have a bamboo shirt and bamboo little leggings underneath it. Because I know full well that if I sweat, it's going to go right in my skin. So thinking about doing natural, so see what I'm saying? These are all things we don't think about on a daily basis about the fabrics, that we're putting next to our skin. So if you're going to wear your polyesters and stuff, and I understand, I need these for stretch and movement and all of that. Yeah, you're going to want to always make sure that you're wearing something cotton or something bamboo or natural fibers underneath your clothing. It's really important, okay? All right. So we're talking about all these exposures. There's a lot, isn't there? And these are things our ancestors 100 years ago would not have had to think about. Well, maybe a little before the 1890s, the Industrial Revolution, if my history serves me right. So now we also have to look at our food. What's in the food? Oh boy. So we've got antibiotics that are making us resistant. They wash your organic chicken in chlorine. Okay? So be aware of that. Yeah.
So what kind of chicken they would be?
That's really good. So, but understand that and recognize that. Well, and then we're going to talk about that more because that's a choice too. Yeah, I know she's going, oh no, don't take away my chicken. But so, and remember, 47% of the chickens that are coming out, even organic or not, are going to have staph infections. So that's why they kind of have to do it. Okay? Yeah. Because the staph is always there. Yeah, meat is a very big, and I eat some meat. I got it. It doesn't agree with me well, and I'm doing less and less of it, but I recognize it comes with a risk. Most food poisonings come from meat. They don't come from fruits, they don't come from vegetables, they come from meat.
And for one chicken, we probably should get one and cook it ourselves.
Well, the most ideal would be find a nice organic farmer where the chickens have been running out and there's no pesticides. That would be ideal, but probably not practical. Yeah.
Strawberries too are toxic because they...
So that's right. So there's a case that was recently run, I think $186 million because of all the Roundup that was being used and it causes extreme amounts of cancer to our poor farm workers. I have to tell you, I wouldn't take that job because of the chemical exposure. Oh, jeez. So you have to realize too, it's not just that. All our products and all our plastics that are made overseas, they're full of chemicals. Somebody has to make them. And you know what the average life expectancy of those people are? Between 30 and 40 years old. So we have to think about this. Yeah, this really makes you think about what you're buying, what you're putting. Like the new Tesla car is all plastic. Go ahead and inhale deeply when you get in that vehicle, Geez, when I buy a car, I try to make sure it's been on the lot for 6 months, so I'm hoping all the stuff is kind of gone out mostly. That new car smell to me, no. My truck was a year when so you're being aware now. See, that's what I'm trying to get you to do, is just to be more aware. Now, I didn't say to stop doing it. You're going to always have a toxic load. and no matter what. But what we're going to go through is how we can help your body bear with that toxic load, okay? And then trying to minimize it as much as you possibly can as well, you know. I think that's key. Okay, so everybody sit up straight. Oh yeah, none of us were we? You were. Yeah, so it's really important for your breathing that you maintain a nice little space here to where you can expand and contract your diaphragm. We're all used to going like this, and so our oxygen levels would be very low. Oxygen is one of the main antioxidants, and it's free.
Wow. I love that.
It's free, yes, isn't it? Yes, it's free. So we're going to go through, I wrote some breathing exercises on here, but we're going to go through tonight some basic breathing exercises that I think could be very helpful for you, and we'll review a couple that can actually calm you down in periods of extreme anxiety. Yeah. They actually release certain hormones or neurotransmitters. Yes, you could use that, Joan, I know. Oh, you need something? What you need, honey? A paper? Okay. Okay. Yes. I have more mirrors here. They're just regular mirrors, and those we can hand out if people need mirrors. No problem. And then you can take the markers, honey. Okay. So, poor posture cuts off your oxygen supply. So you've got to make an effort, and I've even suggested sometimes as much as somebody get these Under Armour shirts or something that can help remind them for a little while to watch their posture. My dad used to go around as a kid poking me in the back, sit up straight, you know. And, you know, our grandmothers always had us do this book thing, you know. So the main thing is that posture. So what I'd like you to try first is put your hands on your tummy. I know, everything has to go. Because I want you to realize, and just kind of breathe normal, and notice if your tummy moves at all. What's moving? Just being aware. Not much. Most of us breathe up here. Okay. So that doesn't make for very good oxygenation. So if you can, and this you might want to put a little check by and mark it down after we're done with the exercise, is 3 times a day, just when you're in your car, at your office desk, wherever you choose, just sit there, and I want you to do what's called belly breathing, okay? And all you do is inhale through your nose and expand your tummy, and exhale. And you can do it through your mouth or your nose. Feel that, what that feels like. Feels different, doesn't it? Now, how do babies breathe? That's how babies breathe. Yeah, anybody who's ever watched a baby, their bellies rise and fall. Yeah, and she's got, yeah, their tummies go up and down. So they got it right, okay? So we need to start to be really aware about our shallow breathing, because this affects our oxygen. When our oxygen is affected, it affects our heart, it affects our circulation, and it affects our brain. Low oxygen, oh yeah, yeah. So you'll get tired. By the end of the day, you'll be exhausted because you've not been able to oxygenate. So that's very, very, very important. And that kind of just what we call aware breathing, and it doesn't take much effort, right? Okay, very, very good. Now there's a breathing exercise that our Navy SEALs learn that's called box breathing. Now box breathing, box breathing is a wonderful way of breathing to calm things down in a stressful situation so that you don't say the wrong thing. Oh yeah. Yes, yes, yes. And so it's basically like a box. You inhale for 3 or 4 seconds, hold it for 3 or 4 seconds, exhale for 3 or 4 seconds, hold the exhale 3 or 4 seconds, and you just keep that box. So let's try it just so you know what it feels like, okay? And it's through the nasal passages. And it would be good if you could do the tummy as well with it, but just focus on just the breathing. Okay, so inhale, hold it, Exhale. Hold it. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. Hold it. And relax. So what that will do is that will bring everything down. If you did like maybe 3 to 6 rounds of that, everything would calm down before you said the wrong thing. Yeah, because we got to watch our speech. It has power. And we're going to talk about that too a little bit as well. So this is a comprehensive longevity class. It's not just, here's your diet, here's your vitamins, no. So your breathing is really important, and I've written some exercises on here that you can look up. You can look up fire breathing, and that's literally where you push it out. We learn it in yoga, and actually it'll clear out all the, so if you're having asthma, it's just a real deep breath through the nostrils, and you push it out through the nostrils. Sometimes you'll cough. Yeah, that's a very good breath, including the box breathing for if you're having asthma. It works. I know on occasion, and you'll cough, yeah. Alternative nostril breathing is something we learn in yoga. And it's pretty interesting in that, and I'm going to have you look that up. It's kind of intriguing. But it will get your mind in balance, unless you'd like me to go ahead and do it with you.
Why don't you show them?
Show you how to do it. Okay, that's easy. Okay, so thumb over the right nostril. Okay, inhale through the left. Plug the left nostril. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right nostril. Exhale through the left. So it's called alternative nostril breathing. So if you're trying to bring some creativity into your work, the logistics and all of that, where you're using both sides of the brain, excellent breathing. Awesomely good. Yes. So we can do the box when the boss is screaming, we can sit in the car and just for our oxygenation, and we can do the alternative just about anywhere, probably not the grocery line, but they're going to think we're picking our nose, but yeah, it could be a bit of an issue. But with that though, you can bring in both right and left brain. Once again, very anti-aging to have all aspects of your brain working. Yeah. Most of us are very left brain dominant. And that's the logistical, I got to go this, and this is my list, and this is what I got to do, and I got to bounce the checkbook, and da-da-da-da. Whereas the right is much more creative. What am I going to make for dinner tonight? My husband likes this, or I want something that tastes really good. What can I create? I'm looking up the recipe. Or the art projects. That's a person that's very, 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 very right brain. But yet on the back, she wrote something very, very nice, good spelling, good everything. That was left brain. Very balanced. Very balanced use of brain. Creative, like I know somebody over there, and yet you bring in that left as well. So that alternative nostril can be very helpful when you have projects in which you can't find a solution. Go to your breath, calm things down. So when your cortisol stress hormone is going crazy and your adrenaline is going, there is no thought process that's taken place. It isn't going to happen. So you got to try to calm down the system so that you're not in fight or flight mode as much as you possibly can. I would say, I know all you guys, very few of you I don't know. I would say the majority of you, hi. He came from Santa Maria, so very few of you guys, I think, don't have some type of adrenal issues, stress hormone issues. I really do believe that to be the case. There is a saliva test that you can have tested, but those breathing exercises would be very, very helpful for people who tend to be a little higher stress. Okay? Take that to heart, and then do your best to try to watch your posture as well too in that regard. Sleep, the magic word. Really a problem. When you don't sleep, you'll age. Because your brain, particularly at night, processes your day, all your information. It detoxes. Now, the most important times for all of you people who like to stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning, the best time to be able to get your brain to detox and the body to detox is between the hours of 10 and 6. Okay? 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. between those hours. Now, I only require about 6.5 hours sleep because my lifestyle, my diet's good, I exercise, I don't require as much sleep. I just don't. My brain, and some of that can be genetic too. My mom didn't either. Okay? But you need, on an average, to maintain a brain that will not tend to get Alzheimer's. A minimum of 6 hours sleep is 6 to 7.5 hours sleep more in our age care. These younger people, they need 9 hours. 9, 10 hours. Yeah, because they're growing. Yeah, they're going to need more. We don't need 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Yeah.
People who works at night, then they're or rotating shift.
That's correct.
That's true then?
That is a problem. Yeah. So yes, and that can lend itself to earlier problems. Yeah. So what I try to do with them is I try to make sure they get melatonin. We try to cycle their vitamins correctly. Yes, very, very good point. Night shift people do tend to have shorter lives. Yeah.
Yeah, my sister works all night, so like.
Yeah. There's some people though that really thrive with that, but I think it's more so being if they get that 6 to 7.5 hours of sleep, good sleep, then I think they should probably be okay. But the best time based upon when the sun goes down, we release melatonin, we tend to get a little tired. And there is a medicine called Ayurvedic medicine, which is from India, and basically states that we have certain times and cycles when it's best to sleep. And you'll be most productive by getting your sleep between 10 and 6. Okay? And that includes the weekends. If you get yourself out of schedule on the weekends, you don't ever catch up on sleep. Never. You can't catch up on sleep. What is really intriguing though, and this is probably what happens with people like me who only need 6.5. So you have different stages of sleep, okay? You have your REM sleep, and you have a stage called N1, N2, and N3. And N3 is really deep repairing sleep. I hit N3 really easily. I know I do. I sleep really deep. And so, but I have other people that are lighter sleepers that, no, they're going to be N1, N2, maybe a little N3. They probably are going to require a little bit more sleep than what I would. Yeah. So you have to kind of adjust it based upon who you are, but your sleep is priority. 65% of Americans, at least twice a week, have sleep problems. I mean, that's 2/3 of our population, and all of us can probably say, yeah. I do on occasion. Yeah. Well, you've got to become a sleep master. You've got to master your sleep. That's a very, very important thing. Now, people that have sleep apnea, it's very important to get that oxygenation. The breathing exercises could be very, very helpful. Losing off some of the weight in the abdominal area so you don't have so much pressure. Very, very helpful as well. You've got to drop off that weight if you have sleep apnea. That's really important. But some people have deviated septums and other issues. Those need to be corrected. You know, doctors need to address those issues. And if you have sleep issues and they do a sleep study, they should be checking those issues. Sleep, vital. So, number one reason why people don't sleep, besides stress, is pain. They're in pain. They're not comfortable. They hurt. You know, they ache. So we have to address these pain issues, and some of which I'm going to talk about in the lecture is going to address these pain issues. There are natural things. There's CBD oil now from hemp. Works wonderful for pain. Now, a lot of people will try to self-medicate or use sleeping medications. Let's put it this way. The average Ambien drug user only gets 7 minutes more sleep. They just can't remember that they didn't sleep. Interesting, huh? So finding mastery of your sleep. And there are yoga movements you can do at night, and I'll just call them yoga exercises. Yoga is not a religion. I'm just talking about it from a standpoint of using it to make the body feel better and feel more balanced. Okay. There are breathing. You can type on YouTube breathing exercises for sleep. Okay. And hopefully you're not doing that at least an hour and a half to 2 hours before you go to bed. Because if you're on that computer, you shorten you're right a half hour before you go to bed, you're on your computer or watching TV, you won't sleep sound. And heaven forbid if you leave this TV on. Your brain is a giant tape recorder. Do not leave the TV on at night. You will not sleep sound. You will not. Now a little white noise in the background, a little fan, I got it. Little ocean breeze, whatever you take, sure. I personally like to hear the crickets and the stuff going on outside, and I'm out. But some people like the fan. Find something in that regard that can help you, but that doesn't program your brain. Yeah. Oh, I fall oftentimes asleep because I'm tired. My husband tends to stay up later, and I'll fall asleep while the TV's going on. And man, I will never let him have a horror film on. I mean, geez. But I try not to do that. But occasionally it happens. All of us do that, So do your best not to. You want a place where there's no light. I know if you want a hall light down the hall, you're probably okay. Leave your bedroom door open. Okay, so you've got a very confined space, or a window open or something. You've got a very confined space, and you're going to be breathing in that room all night long in that very confined space. How good is your oxygen going to be? Not so good. Yeah, you're going to end up with a very high, and there are plants that can help with that. But also, they find that especially with kids, you never shut the door. No. It makes them feel separate from their family. Never shut the door for kids. They will not sleep as well. No. And there's studies on that, and I can remember my mom and dad didn't. It was wonderful, and I always felt safe. I could kind of hear them, and it was good. We were in bed. But I can remember going to my aunt and uncle's house, and that door was shut, and it was dark. And it was like, I felt very disconnected, and it didn't feel good. Especially with kids, okay? Make sure. Yeah, grandkids or whatever, leave the door open. If you got an annoying pet, put them in another room. That can happen. Or if it's a pet that sleeps well at the bottom of your bed, or that's okay too, because they actually found that sleeping with a good pet, as long as they don't disturb you, also helps you sleep better. There's a connection. It's that connection to something that you love. I always sleep better when my husband's right there. If he doesn't get to bed too late, I sleep so much better. The connection is there. Absolutely. And clinical studies support that. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. So this is all stuff you've probably not heard before. So I'm trying to get this, have you recognize this. So you've got to be the mastery of your sleep. Now, when you don't have much connection to the earth, very hard to sleep. So the Native Americans had it right. Get yourself a pair of moccasins. Okay? Moccasins with no soles, just leather. Okay? Or go out barefoot in your yard or whatever if you feel safe. Okay? And you get out. The earth has a Schumann resonance. It has a resonance. It has a vibration. These rubber shoes, they block it. They're great for electrical and you're working in business, absolutely right, and they keep us steady. But if you're at home, nice little pair of moccasin house shoes, go outside, patio, on the grass. Yeah. That has clinically been shown to help with sleep. It's called earthing. And you can look up earthing, and there are books. I have a book up front called Earthing. Yeah. And it's just your attachment. So I go out, and I usually have my boots on because I've got chickens and stuff. But when I can go out, and I have this little pair of moccasins that I make, and I'll walk outside with my moccasins when it's not pouring frickin' rain or it's not muddy. And I just go out, and I look at my garden, I'll pull grass for the chickens, whatever I can do, just to get me that 10, 15 minutes of being out with that earth. and having some earthing. Okay? Seems odd, doesn't it? Your attachment to nature is very, very important. Now, it is. Now, my son, who has a bachelor's in psychology and he almost has his master's in social work, they literally go out, the social workers, and they will walk the park for a half hour with their munch on their lunch or whatever they have, because they recognize that that puts them back to center. Nature puts you back to center. You ever go to the beach? Oh my God, of course it puts you back to center. You come back and you're like, I'm ready, you know? Yes, yeah. So that attachment, whether it's gardening, putting on the doggone walking barefoot like we did when we were kids, we walked everywhere barefoot. It's amazing. Nobody talked to us about anything, you know? But now we're tenderfoots. I'm a tenderfoot, you know, I admit, you know, but before we had calluses, now we brush off the calluses. So, get outside, get the sun on your face. So, everybody goes, sun, 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 we got to worry about the sun. If you're light complected, not so much. 11, 12 minutes, get outside, get into the sun. It lengthens your life. And I'm not just talking vitamin D levels. I'm talking about all the electrons that the earth and the sun produce. And what are antioxidants? Electrons. Remember electrons from high school? You guys haven't had that yet, sorry. Maybe you have. Have you studied electrons yet? No. Electrons. So electrons, everything has a positive and a negative charge. Yeah, see, you got it. Yeah, good. Teachers are doing good. So the electrons are antioxidant. Okay, so when you get out in the earth and you got the sun, you got electrons. It's your best antioxidants around. Okay?
Is that true that the sun also reduces pain?
Yes, sun reduces pain. It's electrons. Anytime you have high antioxidants, your pain level goes down. So when you're more toxic, your pain goes up. When you're nutrient deficient, you don't have antioxidants, your pain goes up. Absolutely. So if you have pain, getting outside, earthing, and then we'll talk about the diet and stuff, yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, interesting, huh? So there are stress hormones for people who have high stress jobs, babies, kids, that kind of stuff. And there are things when people come to me and give me description that can suppress what's called stress hormones at night. It's where their brain doesn't shut down. They sometimes get a little bit of heart palpitations at night. There are things that we can do to suppress that, and I won't get into too much to that. But that's also another issue for sleep, is if your cortisol levels are off. Okay? And that's something that we could talk about privately some other time. But so you can read before you go to bed. You can listen to music or play a guitar or an instrument before you go to bed. Whatever, just make it peaceful, make it quiet. So you're preparing yourself for going in to sleep that takes you to a completely different world. And we're not quite sure in physics where exactly we go. We don't know. But it seems pretty real when you have those dreams. So you're preparing yourself for recovery, which happens primarily between 10 and 1. Detox. The liver dumps, you detox mainly between 10 and 2. And then from 2 onward, then you're in recovery. The body's recovering from all that detox. That's why it's really, those hours are kind of important as well too. We have to try and get that as well too. Okay. So we've addressed breathing, we've addressed the causes of aging, we've addressed and talked about some breathing exercises, sitting up straight, maintaining a good posture. We've addressed sleep, and I've written it on here so it'll kind of hopefully refresh you a little bit. And you know your weaknesses. I know mine. You know? Yeah. And I'm getting better about the breathing part. And I have an O2 meter up there, and my oxygen level, when I'm slumped, it drops 2 or 3 points. Oh, yeah. I'm like going, oops. Stand up straight. Water. Okay. So, you want between 2 and 3 quarts liters of water a day. Okay. And everybody says, what kind of water? Total disagreement among all of the experts. So what I did is I looked at them all and I tried to find some commonalities. What are the common things on there? And the agreement is you got to drink water. If you get dehydrated, what your body does, oh, it is so perfect and wonderful. It pulls water out of your organs and your skin. Yeah, because it's got to keep your blood going. So if you get dehydrated, you will get older, you will look older, and your organs won't be functioning. Your heart won't be beating properly, your intestines you won't eliminate. Yeah. So there's some debate, but here's what the majority believe. Either a reverse osmosis water or a distilled water. Okay. The problem with those is they take out a lot of the minerals. And you go, well, what about my minerals in the water, you know? And if you guys knew the chemicals in your water, because I get the reports here, I don't know if anybody looks at their reports on the water, it's full of chemicals. And that's only ones they test for. So please never drink tap water. Ever. Ever drink tap water. No. You have to get a filter, Susan, or you get the dollar water. You gotta, yeah. But what you can do is you can add either trace minerals into the water, okay, or you can add some alkali drops, trace minerals. You can buy water, I think, at the water store, I believe, where they've added some things back in there, trace mineral-wise, but you can buy trace minerals. But you've got to have the cleanest water possible, preferably in glass.
The water that comes in the bottles you buy at the store isn't inspected.
No, it's not, and she's really right about that. There's no regulation.
You may get a lot of chemicals with local water, but you know what you're drinking.
But make sure you filter it.
Right. You have no idea.
She's
Bottled water has no laws or rules.
Now, ones in Europe do. So like Voss water, there are some that come out of Europe, and they do have regulations on water there. They don't allow fluoride in their water. They don't allow mercury and stuff like that, okay?
You're talking about the machines that are outside the stores or just bottled water?
No, the machines outside the stores, if they maintain them, are fine because you get reverse osmosis water. But you're going to have to put some minerals back in it, or you're going to have to take trace minerals. You're going to have those.
So which ones are?
Where's trace man?
Trace minerals.
You buy it at the grocery store or
Yeah. So if you do distilled, you're going to have to add more. Hi. Can you guys take her a flyer and a mirror as well in the back real quick? And grab her a pen. Thank you.
What about using a Berkey filter?
A what?
The Berkeyfield?
Those are great filters, and they add some things in. Most people don't have Berkey. There's so many beautiful, wonderful systems that you can get. They're expensive. But you can look at the Negen or something like that. I think there's one that's like 5,000. That's the ideal. That purifies the water. It doesn't do too much else to it, though.
You mean Berkey?
Yeah. Purification in like when I think we all bought those for the 2,000. Yeah. So I'm not want to complicate this. Good reverse osmosis water or distilled water, but if you do the distilled, you've got to buy trace minerals. Now, you want water that's alkali. So what does that mean? Oh yeah, there's 72 trace minerals that we all require in addition to the main minerals. Calcium, magnesium, and zinc and all. Those are the main minerals. And then there's trace minerals that our body does. And if we don't have those, I mean, indium, there's so many different ones that if we don't have those, affects our mental health. Yeah. So there's trace mineral supplements, and they're cheap little pills, or you can buy them, but as a general rule, you're going to have to add something to the water in today's world. In California, the 6th largest economy in the world, we are very toxic. California is extremely toxic. Our water supply is toxic. Now you can go to some other states and it's not so much, but here we are because we're industry, agriculture. It all goes ground in your groundwater. So, yeah. So it's a thought. Once again, you're not going to ever be 100%. So back there, when you guys get your water today, Okay, so that's reverse osmosis. Okay, so it's clean. We put some alkali drops in there. We put a little lemon water to alkali. Okay, you can use alkali drops. So in the morning, I want you to start the day with a little warm, clean water, a little bit of ginger if you want. You know, I don't care what kind, of ginger tea, and a little bit of lemon.
A little bit of what?
A little bit of lemon, like a teaspoon of lemon. So we can get you a little bit alkalized right when you first wake up in the morning. Yes.
Apple cider vinegar.
Better before meals, not so much first thing in the morning. Yeah, I like apple cider vinegar as an alkaline agent, the raw, but the other kind of gets, it's going to help you to where in a half hour, an hour, you're going to probably run to go poop. It's going to get things going. Nice warm water, about 12 ounces. Always first thing in the morning, you grab a nice glass of warm water. Very, 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 very important. Yeah.
Coffee.
So, that's disputed too. Yes, yes, yes. No, and I think a cup a day of coffee is fine. In my case, no, good. I'm really sensitive to caffeine, and I do a little bit of tea and stuff. But yeah, but by God, you better put your alkali drops in it because coffee is very acid. Or you make it with alkali water. Yeah, there's alkali drops. I have people that make their coffee and they make the pH 8.5 on the water when they make their coffee. And they notice a big difference on how acid the coffee makes them. Yeah, yeah.
If you use lemon, I mean,
The lemon is alkaline.
so that is the alcohol.
That's an alkaline agent, but people aren't going to put lemon in their coffee. Well, most people.
So you actually put a lemon on your coffee, then you alkalize it? The coffee?
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yes, very good. Yeah. So you have to watch, and I know I don't want to make coffee a forbidden fruit because we talk. But I think now there are organic decafs that you can do. I do worry a little bit about too much caffeine, but I think a cup a day. It's our culture. Coffee's got a lot of antioxidants, and there are studies that talk about coffee and how strong of an antioxidant it is too. Okay? Okay, good. All right. I mentioned on here too, get a little purifier for your filter in your shower because chlorine water amplifies electromagnetic frequency. So
Say that again?
chlorine magnifies electromagnetic frequency, what we call EMF. If you can get a shower filter, it would be a good idea. Your skin will love you. You know, my husband was nice enough. We have a system he put in for me, and you know, I bought it. He put it in, plumber and all, and it takes that chlorine out because I have very sensitive skin. Dries the heck out of my skin, the chlorine, and I have asthmatic. The chlorine stimulates asthma.
What about your cell phones with EMS?
We'll talk about that a little further. We're just talking about water right now. Okay, detoxifying the body, and everybody talks about, oh God, I don't want to do a juice fast, and I don't want to do a water fast. No, I agree. I agree. You don't have to do that. Okay? You don't have to. You can if you want, but you do not have to do those kinds of things to detox the body. The very best thing to detox your body is you get in an infrared sauna. I don't know if this gym has it, but an infrared sauna doesn't heat the body up so much, and it makes you sweat at about 100, 120 degrees. You get in there for 10 minutes every other day, it will detox so much chemicals out. Sweating. So if you're at the gym and you're working out and you're sweating, awesomely great. Sweating is really important for detox. Your skin is your main detoxifying organ.
With no polyester.
You don't like to sweat? Okay. I don't like to sweat either. And I don't sweat easily, but when I go in, I actually bought no speaker. I know. But it does. Well, what happens, I know I getting up in the morning, I've got my little jammies and I have my little bamboo thing on. I usually leave this on, I'll go to sleep in it at night, and I'll have my jammies on, and I'm doing my exercise, and I'm starting to sweat. And all my clothing absorbs my sweat, which is really good. Yeah, and I make sure I never wear a bra the same day. You know, I always wash it. Never wear the clothes the second day. No, wash them. The detox you've got, because you're going to have chemical. Your skin's going to be detoxing all day. So a lot of us don't like to overwash our bras. You need to wash them every day. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It is what it is, you know. So, yeah. So, one of the biggest problems, and we have a huge problem with it here in Lompoc, is we have a lot of molds and funguses, okay, in our air. And I know the base had a warning not long ago that they issued out about there being a lot of mold and funguses in some of the structures because the moisture, okay. So if you can, if you're not close to the fields, if you can kind of leave your window open. If you've got some way, I have an ozone thing that I run in mine. I bought it, I had to buy it in a roundabout way because California doesn't like ozoners, but they oxygenate a room. But making sure you're thoroughly cleaning things and don't have a lot of clutter, because that all collects mold and that all collects mildew and that all collects that and you inhale it. So you need a clean house. Pardon me?
What do you do if you have a lot of books?
Okay, very good. So what you do, excellent, excellent. Essential oils. Excellent. You have oil burner? Or you can do a spray. You put your essential oils in there, oregano, any of the citruses, it'll kill the molds.
Oregano and
Oregano, lemon, frankincense. Yes, use your essential oils. Absolutely. Yeah. Cleaning, and not with bleach. Please. Oh, don't do that. They make us do that back there, and it's just, we just cringe. But at least they did say we don't have to have hot water so that we don't have to inhale the fumes from the chlorine. Because in hot water, chlorine releases its fumes. Yeah. So use your oxygen bleach in your laundry. Okay, it's really important that you do that. Okay, not the regular chlorine. And there's a time and place for, but you can use hydrogen peroxide to get rid of mold if you find it on a wall. Okay? Yeah. Inexpensive hydrogen peroxide is great. And it actually is an oxygenator, so it's good. Yeah, yeah. So just use that. And all these wonderful little OxyCleans and all them, you know, they're much safer, much better. Okay? You can use the oxygen or hydrogen peroxide and all, and you know, you can get toothpaste. You know, they have a little bit of that to help whiten the teeth. It's much safer. Yeah. Microtoxins in food. You know the foods that are highest in microtoxins? Peanuts and corn. Uh-huh. Peanuts and corn, don't eat them. They're full of, yeah, just don't eat them. Walnuts, almonds, pecans, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, peanuts, no.
that means peanut butter too. Right?
That means peanut butter too. Yeah.
Not even organic ones?
No, almond butter's
You know what? I think if you did it occasionally, but don't make it a common practice. And not when you have an issue. You know, I'm allergic to penicillin. I have a mold allergy because penicillin is mold. That's what it is, toxic mold. So I'm sensitive to molds. I don't do them. Yeah, yeah. Not as bad, I think, if it's dried. Okay? But if you're eating fresh corn, worse. Yeah.
You don't add it to your vegan diet.
I would not.
Walnuts is bad.
Corn?
Walnuts.
Walnuts are good, great. Walnuts, almonds, pecans, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds are great.
Peanuts.
Peanuts, yeah, no. Oh my gosh, they're so full. That's why there's so many kids that have hypersensitivities and they won't let you bring the peanut butter sandwich aboard the bus because they're full of aflatoxins.
Cashews have a problem too.
Cashews are slightly, they have high lectins, but not as bad, but yeah. Yeah, so like I said, let food be your medicine. You have to kind of know. So, this is kind of an interesting, they did some studies with animals, and you know you see people cover up with these vinyl-like clothings and polyester and stuff like that. It doesn't let our skin breathe, okay? Now when your skin doesn't breathe, you don't detox, and it can actually kill you. It can actually kill you slowly usually, but so if you're not wearing natural types of things that breathe, yeah. So at night, please don't wear your polyester, whatever. I mean, whether you wear bamboo or cotton, okay, especially at night. If during the day, I know we're going to all have, and it is what it is. But yes, please, especially at night, wear natural fibers, natural products. Okay? Okay, good. Things that kill. Molds and viruses, all those things in your body. Yay! So we're going to have the popcorn? Well, if we do, we're going to use garlic. Yeah, or you'll have a garlic meal or something with garlic.
Salt. No, I'm kidding.
Garlic, you can have, if you have garlic, let's say you have a meal and you have garlic, the garlic kills it, oregano kills it, those are the foods that kill. Yeah.
Tell me, is there a difference between the regular garlic and the elephant garlic? 'Cause
Yes.
I noticed a big difference.
Elephant garlic is not actually real garlic, it's not garlic. The allicin content is much different in elephant garlic. Yeah. Yeah, it's not exactly, yeah, it's not. It's not garlic, yeah. Well, so there's a lot of things. All your citruses are antimicrobial. So I know a lot of people say, you eat oranges? I'm like, yeah, because they eat biofilm. They kill mold. Yeah, grapefruit? Absolutely. Yes, yes, you can have those. Yeah, they're very good. Not juice, but you can have the real plant, yeah. The real fruit, sure. Yeah.
No, not the juice.
No, please.
Like a
Yeah.
grapefruit sometimes has a counteraction with some medicines.
So she brings up a good point. When you have grapefruit, you can't do it within, and the reason why I didn't say anything much, because your medicine always warns you, and your doctor will warn you. Certain high blood pressure medications have a problem with grapefruit within 2 hours. Just within 2 hours. You can do it any other time. We got to move on though, guys. Physical exercise. The least favorite subject of most people. Not going to, I know.
Microwave.
Well, and I wrote on here as well, but we're going to have to move on because I'm not going to have enough time.
Okay.
Microwaves are never. Mine broke, not getting fixed. My husband, no, not getting fixed. Nope. It destroys the molecular structure of the food and all the vitamins. So that's on here. And I wrote it on here. So when we're done tonight, read through, because I've gone through most of this, but there's a few little nuances that I don't think I have as much time. And I may teach some other classes that expand upon how do you detox. Here's your diet, here's some recipes. We can do classes like that too. This is an overview so that you guys know or have some basic information, and you can start doing some of your own research too. I'm not the where-for-all. I'm just a mouthpiece that'll open a door so that you guys can kind of go, oh, I guess I better start looking at that, okay? And then you teach other people. That's why I do what I do, so that it'll affect your lives, and then you can show other people, yeah, then so they become more aware. Okay. Physical exercise. So there's something called interval training. Kids do it all the time. Burst of energy real quick, and then they're walking, and they do burst of energy real quick, and then they're walking and stuff. That's kind of how kids move. They'll burst and then they'll. So what interval training is, and you can do this running, on an elliptical, you can do this with anything. You hit, and if you just did 10 or 20 minutes a day, your whole life would change. Interval training is the best way if you don't have time to train, okay? You go all out, whether it's running, treadmill, elliptical. This morning I was on that elliptical and I had it set on the high setting. Oh man, don't like this. 20 seconds, and then I down to 1 or 2. 40 seconds, yeah, this is better. And then back up again, so I'm going like 40 seconds all out, pain, I don't like it. And then 40 seconds. So it's about 1/3 intense training, 2/3 less intense. It's called interval training. You can look it up more if you'd like online. Wind sprints, what we used to do in school, that's interval training. We used to run, race each other, and then we'd walk back. And then excellent training. One of the best cardiovascular trainings for athletes. That's why they do it for football. Yeah, we always wondered, why are they making us do this? Yeah, it's one of the best ways to train. I have a rebounder at home, but you don't have to do this. Can you guys show us some jumping jacks? Excellent, excellent. Okay, what they're doing now is they're moving all their lymphatic. So they're raising their arms and they're pumping things out and they're jumping. Okay? Most of your fluids in your body are lymph fluids. When you jump, Whether it's a rebounder, whether it's jumping on boxes like my husband does that are that high, you're going to get that rebounding. Yeah, and you're going to clear out the lymphatic system. So if you can do jumping jacks or have a rebounder, jump, skip, look crazy, skip across the yard. Yeah, looks crazy, but it works. It'll get you that bounce movement that you need. Wave the arms, especially women for breast cancers. It's really important that you move that lymph out. Yeah, because if that lymph doesn't move, that's not good, okay? So that's why you see these people with lymphedema and they have to have these lymph massages, because they swell. Most people, it's not water weight, it's lymph. You have 3 times more lymph than you have blood. Yeah, interesting thought, huh? So you're gonna move that lymph along. Okay. As you grow older, you need to stretch, okay? Because we do lose tendon and ligament, and that could be yoga, that can be a touching the toes, stretching, whatever your little routine is. Find a stretch routine. And stretching is really nice to do at night. It relaxes the body. It's an excellent thing, and your body's warmed up. So some form of stretching. So, do you guys know how to juggle?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
Only with 2 balls.
With 2 balls?
One.
You got it. Good girl.
One.
Demonstration.
Wait, what?
Juggle. Oh. So, yeah. So what she's going to do is she's going to go like this. I haven't warmed up, so I'm not so good right now. But when I get going, I'm pretty good. Juggling works your brain phenomenally well. Yeah. There you go. Now you can juggle like Ruby's doing with 1 ball. That's fine. There she goes. Oh, now there's a pro. See? There's a pro. Excellent, excellent. So what you can do is you can practice. Yeah, good, Ruby. So you can do it with 1 ball, 2 balls, 3 balls. That juggling is, thank you guys. Yeah. Juggling works the brain phenomenally. Yeah. So, oh my God, when we were kids, we used to juggle all kinds of things, and our parents weren't very happy about that. Oh, apples. Bruised apples. You're eating that apple. You bruised. My grandma's house. We were. Yeah, and everybody's done that. But see, isn't that fun? And you guys all laughed. And so it's interesting because you're going to get that hand-eye coordination. It's really important to get that. And we lose a lot of that as we grow older.
How long should you do it?
Much as you want. It's fun. Yeah, much as you want. Till you get good at it. I'm actually pretty good at it, but right now my mind is more focused on doing this, and so it wasn't going to happen. Yeah, but boy, came right up. Good guys, good job. Yep, so thank you. See, that's why I have assistants. Yep. All right. Yeah, and good. So laughter is the best medicine, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Your diet. Okay. Ta-dum, ta-dum, ta-dum. Okay. The research shows, okay, that a nutrient-rich, raw, plant-based diet, rich in nuts and seeds, is the optimal diet. Okay? Seventh-day Adventists that eat this way live 7 to 8 years longer. Pain-free. So, we talked about pain. Oh yeah. And I know somebody who's been starting this and doing this, and she's loving it. Pain-free. You want pain is bad. Quality of life. So, now, when you eat a nutrient-dense diet, guess what happens to your appetite? You're eating nutrients and getting all these good foods. Guess what happens to your appetite? Goes away. Sugar is 10 times more addictive than cocaine. Yes. It is 10 times harder to get off of sugar than it is cocaine. Absolutely. You ask any former cocaine addict and they'll tell you, no, can't get off of sugar. I can get off the cocaine, not the sugar. It takes a while, and sugar is your enemy. Sugar will cause you the most pain of anything else. Sugar will age you tremendously quick. That's why alcoholics, and besides being hard on the liver, it's the sugar. Ages very, 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 very fast. So when you start eating a nutrient diet and you're eating all these raw, wonderful salads and hummuses and everything, kind of stuff like what she's got fixed there after we're done, they give you the nutrients you need, and your body goes, I don't have to eat more calories. Because you're feeding me nothing but junk that's nutrient dense, I gotta have more because you're not giving me any nutrients.
Sounds like your body and cells are all starving.
It's starving. So that's why when you eat a nutrient-based, plant-based diet, now in today's world, there's no reason why somebody can't be a vegan. And now, I have a caveat to that. I think if a person does enjoy meat, like anything else, if you want to have chicken or fish once or twice a week, I think you're probably okay. And the studies kind of bear that out, okay? But if you're eating it on a daily basis, as far as longevity is concerned, you won't live as long because you're going to rot. You're going to compost inside your gut. It's reality. It's reality. When they did John Wayne's autopsy, I think it was 24 pounds of undigested meat material. He was a big meat guy. You can't digest it. Human digestive tract is very long. Dogs and all, they have very short digestive tracts and very high stomach acid secretions. They can break it down. They're carnivores. We're not. Yeah, we're not. So now, there is one blood type that should always be vegan and not eat meat hardly ever, and I'm an A blood type. A blood types should always be vegan. A blood types don't usually live as long. Okay, because O's have higher stomach acid secretions, it kills bacteria, they're usually stronger. A's usually, as a general rule, don't live as long. If they're not vegan, they won't. So, sorry to say for you A's, but what's really nice is there are great organic protein powders. If you like go, oh my God, like protein, I'm a bodybuilder. Honey, could you come here for a sec? You're welcome, honey. Ralph? Oh. So I want my husband to come up front, and I want you to look at what a vegetarian looks like. That doesn't eat eggs, does do some cheese, but I want you to see what a vegetarian looks like. My husband's 53 years old, and he runs Gaviota Peak in 39 minutes. My husband is a vegetarian. Look at him. He's pretty. Thank you. Sorry, but I needed that. I needed that as a demonstration. Sorry, babe. No. So I hear that, and I'm like going, BS.
But he's not sugar either, right?
No, he does. He detests sugar.
What do you guys eat? I just want to know.
A plant-based diet. I do have a little bit of meat, but I'm going to go home tonight. I already pre-cooked the beans in the pressure cooker, and I'll make a nice big salad with sprouts and carrots and all that. Now, it would be better if I could have eaten, tonight it's going to be late, but it's better if you can make sure you eat your last meal by 6. Okay, the last meal by 6. You can have an apple or something, but your digestion, you'll do much better. But if you have meat late at night, you're done. It's going to sit in your gut, and you're going to get acid reflux, and it's going to rot. But tonight I always make a big salad with like 9 different ingredients.
Can you ever clean that out in your
Yes. Takes time, yeah. If you're eating a raw plant-based diet, yeah, Lori. I make my own. But you can do any, there's good vegan dressings that you can get that are wonderful Caesar vegan kind of dressings. You can make your own. I just take Veganese, teaspoon of lemon, couple tablespoons of Veganese, a teaspoon of lemon juice, teaspoon of Bragg's apple cider vinegar, and a little bit of MCT oil or olive oil. Okay, teaspoon or 2. about a teaspoon of water, stir it up, my dressing, I put my spices on there. Simple, sweet, and cheap. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm a nutritionist, so. Well, but I want you guys to get interested in this too, because your health, you will notice in a matter of a few weeks, your energy will completely change. She knows. It completely changes. It's phenomenal. Yeah, she's already doing, and Netta, you already do a lot.
Are beans out of a can okay?
Certain beans, yes, as long as and I think there's certain organic brands that are, you got to do the organic, that are pressure cooked, yeah. Your beans should always be pressure cooked or they're inflammatory. My nice little Instapot is my favorite thing. But a pressure cooker, you always pressure cook beans, please, yes, 100%. Because they could.
On the cans, the beans are, just say, these are pressure cooked on it.
There are certain brands, just look them up online. I think the West Spray, some of the ones, the Eden, I think those are all pressure cooked.
Does that like kind of substitute like a little soaking process?
Well, you're going to soak them the night, 12 hours anyway. The problem is I know on the raw diet, and this is where we'll dispute a little bit, is there's lectins in beans that are very inflammatory. And if we do the raw diet where you soak them for a few days and that kind of stuff, and they're very hard to break down, you're still going to have those lectins. And I'm kind of going, I don't think so. The risk of inflammation is too great, and since most of us are inflamed, I just wouldn't.
So you soak them.
Soak them overnight, and then drain the water.
Yeah.
It absorbs most of the stuff. Rinse them, and then put them in the pressure cooker, a little water.
So what's like versus just cooking on the stove? Like that's
It doesn't kill the lectins in them. Lectins are very they're very inflammatory proteins. So anybody who has cardiovascular disease or any inflammatory issues, you've got to make sure that those are pressure cooked. Yeah. And the Instapot, you're worth every penny of my $99. Every penny. I can take something out of the freezer, put it in the Instapot, click it on, and it cooks it. It's wonderful. It's fast. Probably got to keep the questions down.
You
Though, honey.
mentioned that meat was the last thing you ate. What happened?
So if you eat meat too late at night, particularly, it'll sit, your digestion takes a few hours to break down meat. If you eat meat late at night, it's going to sit in your gut, it's going to rot. It will rot. And then everybody complains and they get the acid reflux. No, duh. Yeah. I'm like, if you're going to eat some meat, eat it in the middle of the day. Eat it in the middle of the day. That's when your digestive juices are at their highest. That's when you're going to break your food down. When you eat your between 10 and 2, you'll break down things a lot easier at that time. At night, the body's slowing down. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. 99%, according to Linus Pauling, of diseases are due to nutrient deficiencies. So you get nutrients, you don't have those issues. Raw foods have a measurable energy. If you took a Curlian, I think it's called, it's a device that measures the frequency and energy around things. Cooked food doesn't have it. Destroys all the enzymes and most of the vitamins. Okay, just be aware. So microwave food has none. It's dead food. So raw food has measurable energy and measurable frequencies. That's why certain foods like berries or things like that, beets affect our blood pressure. They work with certain frequencies in our body, and they literally affect aspects about our body. Absolutely. Yeah. So we have 6 different tastes in our tongue, on our tongue. Okay. And I have them listed here, and all of them are connected to our brain. Okay. And my beautiful deli manager, and she's actually writing a book on an intro to Ayurvedic medicine. This is an Ayurvedic medicine principle that you want to stimulate all those taste buds to stimulate the brain. So there's sweet, sour, salty, pungent, astringent, and bitter. Okay? And you want to stimulate all aspects of that on the tongue. It's very important that you do that so that if you're only focused on sweet, 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 salty, 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 you're not going to stimulate the other aspects of your brain. Is that interesting? We were given taste buds for a reason. Yeah, nobody thinks about it. It's like, really? Yeah. So you can look up, and if I teach a more nutrition class, you can look these up online, and you can see what things are considered sweet. You would probably be surprised what things are considered sweet, and all that. Salty, you already know what those are. So I'm not going to take a lot of time to go over the supplements, but I wanted you guys to be aware, and you could talk to me about them if you need to, of the things that have the most research. Okay. And the top 5 are the most important. And everybody will say, well, Heike, if you had just a few things that you want me to take, what would it be? And I'd say the top 5.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
The essential fatty acids, how do you do that on a plant-based diet?
Okay, nuts, seeds, avocados. Yeah. In my particular case, I know if I don't do a little bit of fish oil, I have very dry eye. And I know my body constitution is going to require that. My mom is German, herring, everything she ate. And it could be culturally within me. I require a little bit of it. I don't know. But all I know is I have to do a teaspoon a day.
A teaspoon of what?
Of fish oil a day. Or you can do the EPA, DHA. And it's been shown that your omega-3s in your blood, if they drop below a certain level, your level of cancer comes. You can get vegetarian sources of DHA, EPA. They're algae. They're kind of expensive. But I think just doing a good pharmaceutical grade fish oil, you can do that. You don't have to, though. But you can tend to run a little bit deficient in DHA. Okay. So, but those top 5, now the rest of them I've written down on here for you. We talk about probiotics, and since most of us have so much all this composting going on in our gut, those are kind of important. Oh, we all do. So, the cellulose in the vegetables, guess what they do? They feed your good bacteria. So all those vegetables and a little bit of fruit that you're eating have cellulose fiber in them, and it feeds your good guys. Yeah. Not when they're cooked. Not when they're cooked. So there's a lot of people, there's a couple spelling mistakes, I'm sorry about that. There's a lot of people, in my opinion, that should be checked for folate deficiencies and B12 deficiencies. If you're Northern European, you will most likely be folate deficient. They estimate about 85% of people are B12 deficient. Because of all this rotten composting here, we can't absorb B12. Yeah. And beef, my husband did some great research on this. I think it was something like 75% of the B12, was it B12, honey? Manufactured in the United States is given for cattle feed. 95%. So the only reason why the cows are having higher B12 is because they're getting supplemented with the B12 because they're fed crap. So there's certain fermenting processes that happen in nature in which you can get B12 in vegetables. They've lied to us. So all these wonderful soil-based organisms we had that pesticides kill, yeah. But so most people are B12. So I always have the doc check the B12 levels. And folate, especially if you're Northern European, or that's your primary, mine is. I'm 99.9% European, but I have some Spanish and Italian, not as much of an issue, but Northern European, oh yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting issue. Okay. Your mental attitude, your mental outlook, and how you look at life and how you perceive things around you also tremendously affect how quick you age. All of us have known negative people in our lives. Negative. And we kind of go, oh, I love you, but, that produces a frequency in the body, measurable, and it's death. It's death. You know who did the best research on this was Dr. Emoto. He did a water research product. I didn't write that on. He literally tested water that was exposed. That was exposed to Beethoven and Bach and the word anger, and then they'd expose it to some of the really nasty, mean, or wrote the word Satan on it or whatever. The water that had the bad, what we would determine as being mostly bad words, fool, bad things, F-U-C-K, things like that, the water had no crystalline formation. Zero. So when the water doesn't have a crystalline formation, that's death. Okay. But when they looked at water and that had love on it, or had, it literally, Swan Lake, if you look at the water, it's really weird, it looks like a swan in the crystal. You could look up Dr. Emoto's research. It's really a lot of fun. E-M-O-T-O. And the regular Western scientists try to go, no, it's frequency. Every word out of your mouth, and this comes from every religious practice that talks about the word and its ability to create within the body. And I mean, that's biblical. It's in all of the ancient texts through through other religions as well. And what you find then is all this self-talk that you do to yourself all day long. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to become aware of when you call yourself stupid, or when you say, when you say mean things to yourself. I want you to start to become aware when you do that, okay? Now, we are born as beautiful little babies. We don't know anything. We're happy. It's like nothing anybody can say can affect us. And then we start to program them with all the meanness and the things that are negative, or they're not good at this or that, or they don't have the best of hair, or whatever it is. They get all this programming from the world. We got all this programming. Okay? And it convinces us that we're not worthy. I am not worthy. That was a movie, remember? What was that? Anyway. So you're programming your brain. So what you have to do, is you have to reprogram yourself. You have to reprogram yourself to not talk to yourself like that. Okay? So, be conscious, start being aware of that. Just being aware. And I don't necessarily have to write it down, but start catching yourself. Okay? Okay. And then catch what other people say. Oh. And I don't accept that. And you don't have to say that to them. You can. You can, because other people will say things too. You don't have to accept that. Okay? You are beautiful, wonderful creatures of God. 100 trillion cells in your body. Every one of them does something. Is that amazing? Tell me how that could ever be faulty. It can't be. But the words you speak, the thoughts you think, they do stuff here. And they program you. And all that programming that you got from everybody else, it's funny, it's almost like we get programmed and then we spend the rest of our lives trying to deprogram. True. It's true. There's very few circumstances where that, and whether there's where there's, and all of us at my generation, we got spanked, and we were told, we weren't spoken to as nice, and we were seen and not heard, and all that. This generation, not so much. So they get a little bit better in that regard. So they have a lot more self-confidence, and they're much more creative. Look at this. They're creating, they're drawing, they're doing. See? Yeah. That's awesomely cool. They got good parents. They got good family that watch and facilitate that in them. I know them personally, and they do. So they're being programmed in a way that's not like that. So we have to take maybe what could be generational. Or if you have a spouse that's not so nice, it says not so nice things, or you have kids that say not so nice things, or moms that say not so nice things, for a while, they kind of go, you could have been more successful. I got that one. Yeah. My dad, about a year and a half ago, before now he has dementia, and he's in a care facility, but I heard that, and I said, Daddy, no, didn't bother me. I said, Daddy, I kind of know what you mean, in that I'm not a congressman, I'm not a senator, I'm not the president, I'm not what you hoped in that regard, but I help a lot of people, and I think, Dad, that's the best. He didn't say a word, and he said, I got it. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
He finally got it. So you have to learn to use, when people do things or say things to you, you don't come back at them in an attactive nature. It has to come back with love and understanding, okay, for everybody that you come in contact with, as best that you can. Because when you get angry, you know how long it takes your body to recover hormonally and everything when you get angry? 2 days. One 10-minute anger flare takes 2 days for your body to physiologically recover. 2 days. Yeah. And that's going to age you, yeah.
You can feel it.
You can feel it, and it'll hold it, and then eventually by the second day it starts to release. And you're gone, thank God that's gone. Wash that off. So we have to work on that aspect. So what I gave you tonight is I gave you some mirrors. And I want you to grab your mirror. We're just going to take a few minutes. And it's not any woo-woo stuff, but it's a self-examination, I think. And you don't have to use a mirror if you want. If you want to just close your eyes, that's okay too. I don't care. There's nothing here. But I do want you to look at yourself in the mirror. Guys, look at yourself in the mirror. Look at yourself. Oh, look at how you guys are so cool. I love you guys. You're so neat. I'm glad you're both. Huh? You did? You made me? Oh, you did. Very cool. Thank you. But I got to teach the class, so it's hard. So I want you to look in that mirror, and I want you to see all those beautiful lines. Those eyes that were either your grandma's eyes or I want you to look at those. Okay. And I want you to say, and you don't have to say this out loud, I want you to just look in that mirror, and I want you to say to yourself, I am an amazing creation, or I'm an amazing person. Amazing. I know all of you, you all are. You're all actually pretty cool. I'm an amazing person. Okay. You are. I know all you guys are. Each one of you has your little things that I chuckle about because it makes you unique. It's fun, and I have my little quirky things too, and I every now and then you guys are like, okay, you talk a lot, so, but I just because I'm trying to help. So I examining and feeling within yourself, love is very, very, very important, and that you're worthy of that love. And whether you do it in a meditation or whatever you do, other people, it doesn't matter what they think about you. You know yourself inside. Now, when you start loving this beautiful person with something not quite right, getting a little wrinkles here, hair getting a little gray, I need some henna, when you start, yeah. I like the red on you though, that looks good. Yeah. You could do that with henna too, but it's kind of hard to raise the black though, it's hard. So you got to look for more chemical-free ones when you do it though, as much as you can, ammonia-free on the hair color, yeah, so be aware. So you create an energy around you that when you walk and you love yourself and you're confident about yourself, don't you feel the difference when you're like that when you're not? You notice it, don't you? Yeah. So all that programming you can work on, and you can work with therapists. And you know what you're going to have to do? Is all those people that programmed you, you got to forgive them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you don't forgive them, those wrinkles are gonna come back and they're.
Oh, whoa, every one of them, yeah. So they're going to, sorry about that, honey, I'll move this closer. Yeah, they're going to come back. And so lack of forgiveness is probably one of the most anti-aging things that you can do to your, or most aging thing you can do. Anger, lack of forgiveness, all of that is all something. And you've got to examine that self. An unexamined life, what's that worth? But examining your life and looking at it, why do I want to be healthy? And remember the first question I asked on there? Why do I want to live long? Why? I have some of my customers that tell me, well, I don't want to. I'm like, well, not in the state you're in right now. What if you were healthy?
Right.
Yeah, well, how can I do that? I'm like, well, I have a class, da 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 da. Or, here's some books. So there are some good authors that, and I'll leave you with this, that you guys can research or watch YouTube videos. And I should have written that on there, and I apologize. And I have their books somewhere around here, everywhere. Gabriel Cousens reverses diabetes. And I think Paul told me that he's not sure if his clinic is still open, but his books.
No, it is.
It is?
They called me yesterday, but I couldn't get their call, so I called them back today, and they're calling me.
Excellent.
I asked them to call me
So
back.
they have in Patagonia, Arizona, if someone's diabetic or has cardiovascular disease, they'll reverse it in 4 to 6 weeks.
Type 1 and type 2 both.
Type 2, absolutely. Type 1, 75%.
Crystal and Cousins, is it COUS? Diabetic.
Yeah, so type 2 is easy.
Oh, yeah.
Type 2 is not hard. I've just got to get your enzymes up. I got to get your beta cells. Now, see what happens with the type 1 is the beta cells aren't producing, and we've got to get those beta cells to start to produce insulin again. And there are supplements, GABA and some other things. But there are enzyme-rich foods that are really necessary in order for your organs to recover. This doesn't help. Stand up. Yeah.
What also helps is if you believe that you can get.
So, the biology of belief, and I wrote that on there, Dr. Bruce Lipton. And that's where that 76% comes into play about how you affect your genetics. We talked about that. But your belief system, what we just talked about as far as your self-worth, what you believe you can achieve. It is the truth. And so if you have to write little sticky notes wherever you're at or whatever it is, to keep yourself on target, because it's so easy for us to go back to what we were doing before.
They say it takes 21 days to create a new habit.
21 days on an average to create a new habit. I agree with that. I think that's true.
I know a young mom who has one, and anytime I offer suggestions,
Yeah,
she wrote a book on her life.
sure.
Fingerprints and how it's done.
Yeah.
She goes, no,
There's,
no, I can't keep it. We don't understand it.
so, yeah, there's others. Joel Furman. Joel Furman is terrific. He's great. And I have some of their books here. You can kind of snap a picture and order them online. But there's tons of YouTube videos too. But the newest book from Gabriel Cousens has all the recipes in there. And then there are other vegan recipe books that you can get. It's got to be your choice what you do, you know. But if you do eat meat, make sure it's clean and don't eat it as often.
No, but that's not smoke and mirrors. There's no clean meat.
There is no clean meat.
Okay? You
There
can
is no
think
clean
whatever
meat.
you want.
There is no clean meat. She's right.
There's no clean meat.
There's no clean meat. She's absolutely right.
It's very stressful.
It's very true. There is no clean meat. When I say clean meat, do the best you can to get the organic as best you can. In my case, I would prefer everybody be vegan, but I'm not going to do that.
I can't believe what they write on the packages. I'm in a place in my life where, you know, I could buy the most expensive free-range chicken, and I'm still asking myself, is this chlorinated?
It is.
Poison? How they handled this bird? abundant spirit? Is it giving me what I need? No.
So she says the right thing. The further down something is in an ecological chain, food-wise, the less beneficial it is for our bodies. So we need to stick more with the plant-based, those kinds of things. Yes?
Are frozen veggies okay?
Not the best, but they're better than canned. The thing about it is you're going to be cooking them. So on occasion, I think, yeah. But if you're cooking anything, remember, it destroys most of the vitamins. Yeah. Yeah, so I know. Mushrooms, you have to always cook, though. Never, ever eat raw mushrooms. There are some exceptions. They have molds and they have other things on them, and they produce there's a toxin. It's not even the molds as much as there's a toxin that's produced if you don't cook them. Okay? So things like that.
Frozen meats, that's not good either.
What?
Frozen meats.
No. No. Meat is just not.
They're not even feeding
That's not what
the
it's
animals
designed
what
to.
we need as bodies.
And you could go out and you could buy that 96%,
I have a line.
grass-fed, and it's still, you're still asking yourself.
Because you don't know how it got killed. You don't know if it was waiting in a line ready to be slaughtered and had tons of adrenaline. You don't know. But once again, I'm never going to bash on meat eaters because I got that. I understand that, like certain things, somebody wants their nice piece of fish or they want their nice piece of chicken. I got that. If you're going to do that, at least balance it with lots of good vegetables and salads and things like that, if you're going to do it. It's better, obviously, for lifespan if you can go. But I have to tell you, if you're a vegan and you eat pasta and spaghetti and you don't eat raw vegetables, you're dead. You are going to have a shorter life expectancy than a meat eater. So those typical vegans that say, yeah, I'm vegan, but I don't eat hardly any vegetables, they're done. Their life is very short. I'd rather somebody be a meat eater and eat vegetables than be that way. And the studies bear that out. Absolutely.
What tofu? I know two people, they eat only pizzas and what's the other one?
Yeah, their life is going to be short. Subway?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They feel this.
yes.
And one was a doctor. And the other one, it was my patient. Ended up.
Because you're a caregiver, yeah.
Tofu in no
So-
circulation.
Yeah, well, because they destroy their vascular system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you're nutrient deficient, in today's world, you got to do a multi. You've got to have C, you've got to have magnesium, you've got to have D, and some sorts of fatty acids, because it's not going to be there in your food. And if you're C deficient, your vascular system will break down. There's no question B and C deficiency. Tofu, if it's a fermented form of tofu, occasionally is fine. It's just fermented tofu. Occasionally.
Heike, as you as a vegan, what you just eat like veggies the whole
That's
day?
why you gotta research. So, yeah. So the smoothies make it really easy for me. I'm doing a smoothie in the morning and all of that. But yes, vegetable-based, raw foods primarily. Now, I did bring them. Sprouts that you can make yourself. This one's got a couple more days to go.
How do you know when they're ready?
They'll start, you can kind of see, they'll start to look like you've seen them in the grocery store, and then I'll put this in my son. These are sprouts. Very nutrient dense. You know, cooked beef only has about 7% biologically available protein. Spirulina has 90%. You know, there's other things that are, vegetable-based proteins are always more biologically available. And in today's world, there are protein powders too if you worry about your proteins.
Would you repeat that? Beef has
7% biologically available protein. 14 if it's raw, but please don't eat raw beef. Raw, and if you eat raw of anything, they actually have pictures literally of people that have eaten raw live fish and they fall on the ground. It releases so much adrenaline, it kills the people. Yeah. Yeah. We have a variety pack, non-GMO. They've got radish and stuff like that. Radishes are really good antioxidants and things like that. I'm not a real big fan of alfalfa, but other kinds of sprouts. You can sprout broccoli. I have some of those at home as well. But these are easy to do. I rinse them once a day. And I put them on our salads. I have already one that we use at night. So
That has the protein in it.
no. So what you're going to do is you're going to look for, your nuts are some of the richest. Almonds, a quarter cup of almonds have 9 grams of protein. You know, there's other foods that you can do that are rich. You're going to have to do your research. But I will, if you want me to, I will teach a class on how to be a healthy vegan, or vegan, either way, how they say it. If you want that class.
Do you eat eggs?
I'm allergic to eggs, so I can't. I have chickens.
Oh, that's right, we did have that conversation.
I have chickens, and my eggs are probably the best. My gosh, the girls got kale and everything, and I go out and handpick their grasses, pulling. They got worms. They got.
I know.
If I wasn't allergic to eggs, I'd probably eat those eggs. But eggs.
Chickens, do you?
Huh?
You eat those chickens?
No, I let them. I let them go until they die.
I know they're pets.
Yeah, I let them go. And when they die, when I get them once close, I have an isolation area I put her, and they get a peaceful something. So I'm very kind to them. They're, yes. Because my son, my son Derek and my sons eat eggs, and I wanted him to have the best source. It is what it is. Your food, it has an energy. And the love. Say a prayer over your food, or a blessing if you're not. Bless your food. Dr. Emoto's research, why not?
It changes it.
It changes it. That's science. Your body is mostly water. So what happens when you say beautiful things to your body? Thank you guys so much. God bless you tonight. I appreciate you, and I love all you guys. Thank you very much, and I will do my best to help. Okay, and then thank you. Information is your power. And then you research. You watch those YouTube videos, except not 2 hours before bed. That is yours to keep. Thank you. You're welcome, honey. Thank you, young ladies. So I have to pay you tonight for your assistance. So let me go get some money, and I have to pay you. I'll be right back.